Welcome to the Lean Out Your Business podcast, a show dedicated to helping entrepreneurs accelerate business growth and simplify success. I'm your host, Krista Grasso, and I've been working with businesses for more than 2 decades to help them lean out and optimize what's working while eliminating anything that's not adding value. So if you are ready to get more time back in your day, more profit in your business, and to do business differently, growing and scaling on your terms, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Lean Out Your Business podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about how to know if you should be focused on growth or optimization in your business. And I touched on this a little bit in my last episode when I was looking at my trends and predictions and kind of themes for success for this year. And what I was sharing was that I've noticed businesses tend to be in one of 2 places this year. One being very growth focused, the other being very optimization focused. So in this episode, I want to dig a little bit deeper into when in your business it makes sense to be in a period of growth, when it makes sense to be in a period of optimization, as well as some risks and some things that you want to be considering so that you're actually setting your business up for success and to minimize all the peaks and valleys that can happen when you end up in a growth optimization loop. So the reality is the thing that most people talk about publicly is growth. Because growth sounds sexy, right? Growth is more numbers, it's more impact, it's more revenue. It's all of these different things that sound very enticing. And so it tends to be what a lot of people focus on. Whereas behind the scenes conversations are frequently about optimization, or at least include optimization, because it's what's truly needed to be able to sustain that growth and have lasting success. I've shared on the podcast several times the difference between growth and scaling. And I think the challenge with growth and being growth focused, while it is absolutely important and a necessary step along the journey of getting ready to scale an offer or getting ready to scale your business, growth can sometimes give you a false sense of confidence that your business is actually more successful than it is. Because here's what actually comes with growth. Typically, in addition to the increased numbers that you see, there's also a lot of increased expenses. There's typically more team, and sometimes you don't have the right team, or the team that you have today isn't going to be the team that's going to get you where you need to go, or because you're so rushed to hire that team, because you're in a period of growth, sometimes you don't bring on the right people, and it actually creates more work for you. There typically is a whole lot of complexity, and there's often very little time. And periods of growth really highlight where you have broken or non-existent systems. And that's just a few of the things that are side effects of growth, especially rapid growth. And as we're looking at growing our business, sometimes we approach it really strategically and with a lot of intention. And it can be so amazing and feel so fulfilling when all of our efforts actually turn out the way that we planned, when the growth that we set out to achieve actually happens. But it can also be really draining if you're experiencing some of those things that I mentioned. But a lot of times the growth happens almost accidentally or really rapidly. We weren't planning on something taking off the way that it did, or things just happen a lot quicker or at a pace a lot faster than what we were anticipating. And it can feel super exhilarating at first when that's happened. If you've ever experienced a period of rapid growth or exponential growth, or throw whatever adjective in front of the word growth you want, it's completely exhilarating when it happens. But it gets really complex really quickly, and it becomes really hard to keep up with the moving parts. And if you're not careful, not only is it really draining on you and your team, but it can actually impact the experience of your clients, because a lot of things start to fall through the cracks. And so whether growth in your business is really strategic and intentional, or whether it ends up happening a little bit more accidentally in a really rapid way, any kind of growth ends up being unsustainable if you're not also focused on simplification and optimization. Your business needs both. And unless you're somebody like me who's obsessed with lean and all things operational efficiency, sometimes optimization just doesn't sound as sexy as growth does. But all those results that you want, actually increasing your profit instead of just bringing in more revenue along with more expenses at an even greater pace, actually being able to increase your impact, without having to work more and more and more, and having things run smoothly without everything being fully dependent on you. All of that comes from optimization, and I think that is just as sexy. So if you know that your business needs to continue growing, but also to optimize, how do you approach it? And there's two different choices that you can make. And unfortunately, the one that I see most businesses make ends up actually keeping them stuck where they're at and slowing down their ability to scale. The thing that I see so many business owners do that inadvertently puts them on this roller coaster ride of growth optimization is to be very singularly focused on just one. So what this looks like is if you're in a period of growth, you're so focused on growth in front-end activities. You're out there marketing and you're out there selling and you're doing all of those top of funnel activities to bring in new leads and convert new clients that you tend to end up with a big complex mess behind the scenes that ends up driving the need to focus on optimization. You can't keep going the way that you're at, and you know that you have to actually focus on putting the team in place to support you, putting some systems in place, and trying to simplify some of what you're doing. So what happens is when you get to that place of almost desperation where you're like, I can't keep going like this anymore, I need to focus on optimization, then you tend to singularly shift your focus to optimization and more back-end activities. And so your business starts to become more operationally efficient. You start to see some more time back and some more efficiency gains. And that's all good and well until you hit the point that you realize your business isn't growing at the pace that you need it to because you took your foot off the gas of the growth-oriented activities. And so what do? You shift your focus back to growth and you repeat the cycle over and over again. This is so incredibly common. And what business owners often don't realize is this is what can keep your business stuck. It can keep your business stuck for years, where one year you'll seem like you're making some incremental progress and you start to feel really good about the trajectory of your business. And if you start to map out like 3 to 5 years in the future, you start to get really excited about what that looks like. And then the next year, things stay completely steady or start to dip. In the following year, you start to grow a little bit more again. But at the end of the day, you're making such small gains year over year because of that constant cycle of growth followed by optimization, followed by growth, followed by optimization. So it takes you a really, really long time to inch your way up to whatever that next big milestone is. So what do you do instead? How do you address both growth and optimization, but get yourself out of the loop where you're so singularly focused on one that you're actually negatively impacting the other? Because just like when you shift your focus to optimization, your business can stop growing. When you shift your focus to growth, all of a sudden, all your systems can really quickly become out of date. Complexity starts to pile up in your business, and all of those things that were running really effectively, really efficiently, and hopefully without being completely dependent on you, a lot of that starts to erode, and you end up back in a similar, although incrementally better place than where you had started from. So what you want to do instead is you want to implement a system that balances front-end growth with back-end optimization. That's what the Lean Business Scaling System is. That's one of the things that I created my Lean Business Scaling System to address. And what we do with our clients inside our Simplify to Scale program that's built on top of the Lean Business Scaling System. After spending more than 20 years working with businesses across diverse industries of various shapes and sizes, from the largest Fortune 10 companies in the world to smaller scaling coaching, consulting, and service businesses, I've identified what I call the 9. It's the 9 engines that address both the front end and back end of your business. So you end up with a steady stream of high quality leads, high quality clients, and the systems and structure to deliver really exceptional experiences and results for those clients, to retain those clients, and to run your business and lead your team. The 9 engines span fulfillment, achievement, sustainability, simplicity, visibility and conversion, delivery, improvement, and productivity. Each of them is important, and each of them interconnects together to ultimately be what allows you to scale your business in a simple, sustainable way. When I designed this framework, I designed it intentionally to be kind of a choose your own adventure framework, a pull-based framework, because I think it's really important in our business that we're not following something cookie cutter, that we're not following something overly prescriptive. Every single framework that you implement into your business, it should be adaptive and it should fit the unique needs and the unique context that you have in your business. So how this applies to making sure that you have that balance of growth and optimization in your business while always keeping things lean is that you don't go out and implement all 9 engines at once. You focus your effort on whatever your biggest need is right now. So maybe right now in your business, you are all about growth, generating new clients and finding new leads is top of mind and your primary focus right now. If that's the case, then you're going to focus on the specific engines that are going to deliver those results. If on the flip side, you just experienced a period of growth in your business and you are at that desperate for systems and structure place, you know you need to expand your team or up-level the team that you have, then your focus would be on those particular engines. They each build off of and enhance one another. So instead of putting yourself on that growth optimization loop, you want to be implementing and leveraging all 9 engines in the business, but you start in more of a triage situation, trying to solve whatever the biggest need is first, and then you incrementally expand that out until you have all 9 engines in place. It's the only way to scale sustainably without having to feel like you have to hustle nonstop or without being on that feast and famine up and down cycle that you end up on when you're focused on growth and then optimization in that loop. So how do you know where to start? How do you know which engine to implement first? How do you know if your focus should be growth or if your focus should be optimization? There's a lot that can go into that decision making, and it's something that we do work with our clients on inside Simplify to Scale. But a really quick way to do that is what's more important to you right now, time or money? If you are really focused on bringing in more revenue in your business right now, and money is a big focus, then you're probably in a period of growth where you probably want to prioritize some growth-oriented activities. Now, if right now, the thing that you want more than anything else is to get some time back, you are working way too hard, your team is working way too hard, there's tons of complexity, things feel really draining, you are probably in a period of optimization. So again, there's so much nuance into knowing exactly where to focus, but that's a really quick, simple way to know where your efforts should be focused. But one thing that's really important to keep in mind, and something that I designed Lean Business Scaling System to address specifically, is even when you're in a period of growth, you're optimizing. And even when you're in a period of optimization, you're growing. So as you're implementing all 9 of those engines, or the reality is you already have all 9 engines in your business or else you wouldn't be here, but they typically all need to be up-leveled and they need to be stitched together in a very strategic way so that they enhance one another and amplify your results. So even if you're focused on things like visibility and conversion, which are some of your growth engines, at the same time, we're looking at sustainability and simplicity and delivery and improvement in some of the optimization engines so you don't put yourself back in that growth optimization loop. If you want to learn more about the 9 engines or learn more about Simplify to Scale, where we're going to be implementing these with you, join me for an upcoming open house on February 2nd, where I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes of the Simplify to Scale program. I'm going to give an overview of each of the engines and how they fit together. I'm also going to be sharing a little bit more about a really incredible bonus that I have right now, where I will actually meet with you personally and go through and help you understand which engines to focus on first and which things to look out for so you are growing in an optimized way or you're optimizing in a way that's still driving growth in your business, because it is so important to do both regardless of what your initial focus needs to be. And by the end of the time together in Simplify to Scale, you'll have all 9 engines in place so you don't have to make the decision between growth and optimization in the future. You're actually doing both simultaneously. So you're bringing in those new leads, you are retaining your existing clients, and you are running your business like a really well-oiled machine that allows you to not have to be stuck in the day-to-day and the key for every decision that gets made with everything dependent on you, while still delivering a really incredible client experience. You can get registered at leanoutmethod.com/open house, or just put some time on my calendar at leanoutmethod.com/consult to see if Simplify to Scale is a good fit for you. The last thing I want to leave you with in this episode is you don't have to do all of this yourself. You really want to be leveraging your team. With that in mind, inside Simplify to Scale, we include 2 tracks. So you, as the founder and CEO of the business, you get scaling support and strategic advisory on all of those big ideas, opportunities, and challenges that you're experiencing in your business. But we also give your team access. We give the right-hand person that you have in your business access so that they can go ahead and be implementing on each of these 9 engines, or they can be filling the gaps in what you're already doing so that you're getting better results without you having to be the one that does everything. They have their own implementation track. They get their own calls so that they can best support you. In order to have that really integrated solution of growth and optimization going forward, you do need to leverage your team. You need people with different focuses. You need those who are focused on attracting and converting, and you need those focused on sustaining and optimizing. And in order for each of those focus areas to be successful, they need a solid strategy that looks holistically across both of them and that supports the vision that you have for your business, your lifestyle, and your clients. I hope you got a lot of value out of this episode. I look forward to seeing you at the upcoming open house. Again, that's at leanoutmethod.com/open house, or just head straight over to leanoutmethod.com/consult to put some time on my calendar if you'd like to meet with me one-on-one, and let's chat about simplifying and scaling your business. I'll see you again next week. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Lean Out Your Business podcast. I hope you got a lot of value and actionable insights from today's show, and would love if you take a moment to leave us a review. If you have any questions on today's episode or on how to lean out your business, join us over in our private Facebook community, where every week we do live training and Q&A, and I'd love to have you be part of the conversation. Head to leanoutmethod.com/group to join us. And before you go, be sure to subscribe to the show so you're the first to know when we release a new episode. We'll see you next week.